Stephanie, I see everyone joining. Just give me a cue when you're ready for me to start.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and start, everyone has entered. So
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending. I do believe the first annual Win-Win. You see, I'm calling it annual, and I'm hoping that they do it again. But Win-Win, learn how to earn extra income while serving the community. We are so grateful for your attendance today, and I'm going to kick it off. My name's Roberta Walton. For those who may or may not know, I'll give you a couple more details about me a little later on in the program. Right now, I just wanted to share something regarding the Orange County Bar. The Orange County Bar Association has been around for 85 years. And during that time has grown to a membership of more than 3,400 attorneys, judges, and other legal professionals. In addition to serving the needs of our members, one of the goals of the Orange County Bar Association has been to reach out into the community and provide services and programs that will benefit Central Floridians. Some of these programs include staffing the attorney panel at the Orange County Clerk's Self-Help Center, of which we're going to hear from our very own clerk in just a few moments. The lawyer referral service, and that's a referral and information service for the community. And the Modest Means program, and you're going to hear something more intimate regarding that program from the Honorable Judge Diana Tennis and Camy Schwam-Wilcox in just a few moments as well. So without further delay, because I do know that into your lunch hour, here to discuss the opportunities at the Self-Help Center, we have none other than Orange County Clerk of Courts, the Honorable Tiffany Moore Russell. She was elected to that seat in 2014 and was recently elected for her second full term. Um, thank God for that. Most recently, she's one of our many trailblazers throughout the community, and the Self-Help Center here at the clerk's office really and truly has been all her. She walked through the door with that heart and mind, wanting to help constituents who just did not, for one reason or the other, want to or have the means to hire an attorney. In addition to that, we're going to hear from Jessica D. Thomas of the Thomas Law Firm. So happy to have Jessica here with us. We're both natives of Bay County, the Panhandle, so it's always good to see her. Jessica is a local family law practitioner, and she is one of our inaugural attorneys to serve on the Self-Help Center panel. So Jessica has been with us for the long haul, and so we're so grateful. We have people who come in and personally request Jessica, and we say, no, it's not that way. But you can find her in the yellow pages, right? And lastly, I'm going to try to fill in any gaps that Jessica and Clerk Russell were not able to share. My name again is Roberta Walton, and I am the operations manager for the Orange County Clerk Self-Help Center. And by way also of the Family Services Division. So you can find me here on the third floor at the courthouse. And my office is actually co-located with the Self-Help Center. So without further ado, I'd like to hear from Clerk Russell. Clerk Russell?
Good afternoon and hello, Roberta. How are you? And I want to thank the leadership of the Orange County Bar Association for hosting this session to, I'm going to say, recruit some phenomenal attorneys in Central Florida to come give their time to the Self-Help Center. So as Roberta stated, I am Tiffany Moore Russell, your Orange County Clerk of Court. And just a little bit about me, I am a licensed attorney. And prior to coming to the clerk's office and prior to serving as a county commissioner, I was a litigation attorney with legal services, and I dealt with a lot of housing issues, landlord tenant. And so I have a natural passion for helping those who are not able to navigate the legal system without some assistance. And so when I was elected as the clerk, as Roberta stated, I came in day one. Actually, I campaigned on increasing access to justice. And there are so many initiatives across the state. Our own Supreme Court has the Access to Justice Commission, which I serve on, representing the clerks of court in the state of Florida, which is we recognize that many of our citizens in Orange County will never be able to afford an attorney. And so the Self-Help Center was created, was birthed to help those individuals navigate, get questions answered, at least talk to an attorney at a minimal cost. And we started that in 2015 and expanded it. We now have, well, it's been postponed due to pandemic, but prior to the pandemic, we were even one day a week in Apopka. And so that's the passion behind the Self-Help Center. It's really to help those people. I always tell people when I talk to groups, many people don't voluntarily come to the courthouse. That is not a meetup destination. You're never going to hear anyone say happy hour at the courthouse, right? It is typically, so the only people who are actually happy when they come to our building is they're either getting married or they're getting a passport. Everybody else was told to come to the courthouse. They just didn't choose to come see us, right? But if we could make that process easier to manage, less stressful, we're probably going to meet someone who's at the height of the most serious situation in their life. And so that my goal is for the Self-Help Center and the attorneys volunteering is to make that just a little bit easier for them to navigate. So I am here giving you my heart, sharing with you why I created the Self-Help Center. And the pandemic has created this scenario where we are now, the lawyers, as Roberta will share with you, are virtual. So they're not seeing the citizens face to face. We are all embracing this virtual platform, but it has increased the need for those same citizens to have the questions they need to get answered. And we all know the uncertainty around evictions, and we all know the uncertainty around those issues. And so I am here to come to you to ask you to really think about giving your time. And I know you don't make a lot of money volunteering coming to the Self-Help Center. Roberta will go over the details and the everything around that situation, but you're not gonna, take a private trip to Jamaica off your Self-Help Center time. Let me say that. But it is, giving of yourself and volunteering and helping those who just need to navigate that situation because of your knowledge and your experience. And so I'm asking you today to consider volunteering and joining the panel. And we're really looking for those who can speak Spanish, Creole, but we're going to take all attorneys who are interested in serving their time and giving us some of your legal experience and helping our great citizens of Orange County. So that is my plea to all of you who've joined us during your lunch hour. Roberta, I will give it back to you. And thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Clerk Russell, for making our plea, because certainly the proper word is recruitment. And certainly when this initiative was kicked off, we did just that. And Jessica Thomas, you answered that call. And so if you share with your counterparts and the other practitioners that have joined us today on why they should give their time and their service to the Clerk Self-Help Center.
Absolutely. Thank you, Roberta, for that beautiful introduction. And I wrote some notes. Anybody who knows me knows I had a little outline ready. Y'all know me. Okay, so number one, I just want to tell you a little bit about me because I think it helps you know what type of attorneys are volunteering here. I am a solo practitioner. That does give me some autonomy over my schedule, over when I can come and what I can offer to the Self-Help Center. I have been practicing for 10 years this year, and I practice family law, adoption, and I'm a guardian ad litem. So just a little bit about who I am. And at the Self-Help Center, I don't know if it was mentioned, the advice that we give is in 3 areas. We give advice in family law, landlord tenant, and small claims. Those are the 3 areas. And I think it's important for people to know that because there are some really great benefits to being a volunteer attorney. Number one, we say volunteer, but as they mentioned, Attorney Walton will give you some idea of the compensation. But I like to think of it as this is me giving, every time I'm at the Self-Help Center, I am giving back $2,400. That's 8 hours of my time at $300 an hour, $2,400 every single day that I decide to be at the Self-Help Center. And as they've mentioned, I have been here from the beginning and I probably will never stop. Here's the reasons that I encourage you to stop what you're doing, fill out the application, get on the phone with Roberta right now and come in. So number one, it's constant hypos. So if you don't practice family law, if you don't practice small claims, if you don't practice landlord tenant, it's hypos. Think back to law school. If people are giving you the facts and you're having to think on your feet and find the answer. I can't tell you how beneficial that has been for me as a practitioner. I can't tell you how beneficial it has been to me when I'm in front of amazing judges like Judge Chinnis, who's asking me a question that I'm like, you know what, Your Honor, I actually, yeah, I have that answer right here. Because you need to be able to think when a curveball is thrown at you, as we all know, as litigators. I don't think a lot of us are transactional. A lot of us are litigators. We're used to being in court and kind of hammered. You need to know the answers. These clients are going to hammer you and ask you, well, what about this? But what about this? And they are going to come with fact patterns that you couldn't make up if you tried. And it is so beneficial. Number 2, exposure to other areas. I do family law, like I said, family, adoption, guardian ad litem, but please believe that if there's a lien month and someone's like, could you help me with this eviction? After doing this now for 5 years, I surely can. I have learned a new area of law. So I want you to think of what you're spending on CLEs, what you're spending on co-counseling cases and learning different areas. As a solo, it is hard some months, as we all can attest to. And it is nice to be able to say, I know how to write a demand letter. I am absolutely familiar with that. Now I've learned something at self-help that I can take to my private practice. Number 4, is it's good research for practice, or number 3, good research for practice and procedure. I cannot tell you how many times that I pull up somebody's case and I'm like, oh, the lawyer missed this. And then it reminds me and I'm like, did I do that? Did I do the motion? And it is this really good practice management. You will constantly be under the fear that we already are of the Florida bar. You will be in even more fear, but in a good fear that you take what you learn from these cases, from what other lawyers did, that they say, oh, I didn't talk to them. You're like, you never heard from your lawyer? Really? Because I see like 8 motions in here. It's helping you to realize where there may be pitfalls in your own practice. It is beneficial. And then last but not least, because I'm going fast, you are helping with due process. I cannot tell you how good that feels when you are sitting there in front of someone who says, I never got the notice. She gave the wrong address. I didn't know, I didn't turn in the CDC, that paper they have to turn in now for the evictions. I didn't turn it in. I didn't know who to give it to. Oh, he won't, I had a client the other day and it was about a car and repairs. And I was able to say, oh, this is what you do. This is the statute, because I'd been there long enough. It feels so good. And I know that we always say, there's a joke of like, as lawyers, we get yelled at by our clients, yelled at by opposing counsel, yelled at by the judges. No offense, Judge Chinnis. We get yelled at by all 3. And it feels like a very downtrodden position. At the Self-Help Center, talk about feeling good. Talk about people crying, saying, thank you. I'm not in this by myself. You made a difference. I went to the hearing and I did get the bank statements and I proved that he could help me with these kids. I'm telling you. You can't buy it. It is worth $2,400 every single time that I step into the Self-Help Center for a full day. And I also know Roberta will talk to you guys that we have half day and full day. So even if you can't do the whole day, you can come for a morning and then do your mediation in the afternoon. It's phenomenal. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, go ahead.
Now we see why I always choose to take Jessica on the road with me, right? So again, just to sum up the Self-Help Center, and I can tell you, we reached out to Candace and Stephanie over at OCBA and said, we need to have a recruitment fair because we understand we kicked off with a very large Self-Help Center panel, but of course the pandemic kind of turned a lot of people away. A lot of people were uncertain about whether or not the courthouse was open, whether or not it was still safe, whether or not we were seeing customers in person. Yes, we are seeing customers in person at the clerk's office, but we have put in some protocols to ensure everyone's safety. To enter the courthouse, period, you must have a mask on, right? We have placed caps on the number of people who can be in any of our lobbies. So we try to cap that number to 10, no more than 10 people in any of the domestic lobbies. We don't allow people to just sit in the lobbies for any length of time to just fill out paperwork anymore. We give them the paperwork and we ask them to take it with them because we want to make sure that we are opening ourselves up for as many people as possible to come in. We have a triage desk now that kind of redirects and makes sure that people are in the right rooms. And to facilitate them receiving the right service. But just specific to self-help and the self-help center attorney consultations, the consultations can be made online. Yes, we do make some in-person appointments here, but for the most part, those consultations are made online in advance. They are non-refundable and cannot be rescheduled because they're simply $1 a minute. The consultations are in 15-minute increments up to 60 minutes. And so you have 15, 30, 45, and 60-minute appointments at $1. Um, as it relates to the attorney shifts is either a full day from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you receive a schedule from one of the deputy clerks when you get there that gives you the layout for that entire day. And they kind of monitor and liaison and assist with anything you may need throughout the day. Because yes, in the Self-Help Center, we have a standalone office that is dedicated to the Self-Help Center attorney. And so it's almost like you're in your own office and you're able to facilitate seeing clients. The thing is, we used to do that in person. We no longer do that in person. We now invite the attorney into the Self-Help Center office and they see all customers via the Zoom application. So all of the appointments are still intimate in nature, but they're via Zoom. So they're virtual. And so we wanted to make sure that we could ensure that an attorney felt safe by still participating in the Self-Help Center program, and customers also felt safe. And they were still getting that one-on-one attention that we promised and we committed when we initially established this program. So in terms of compensation, the attorney receives $200 a day for a full day. And so it's $200 across the board. We have teamed up with the bar, and the bar gets a small administration fee, and the attorney takes all of the rest. And that money comes directly from us to the bar to you. And in addition to that, you get free parking. So I was able to run up and down the stairwell and find some free parking for anybody who also participated in the program. And so what we ask is that if you are interested, I believe Candace or Stephanie is going to place in the chat a link so that you can complete or have access to the application, because the bar is in charge of the application process. And we ask everyone complete an application if you're interested. As Jessica stated, it is hands down the most gratifying experience that you're ever going to have. It will keep you on your toes. If you are the experienced attorney that I know many of you are, or if you are just entering into your legal career and you've been around for a minimum of a year, in terms of passing the bar, trust me, you will learn by fire. It is trial by fire. And I have seen it happen from experienced attorneys to very new attorneys to come in and say, oh my God, I got asked these questions today. And it literally made me want to go home and think about it, right? In terms of evidence, you see some of the things from a pro se litigant. And in addition to that, it's going to give you that experience of dealing with your pro se opponents when you're in the courtroom, because you now hear some of the issues, you hear how they think, and you're helping them to, and you're empowering them, should I say, to represent themselves in court. You will not be filing a notice of appearance because you will not be representing them. This is an empowerment tool and an empowerment program where we help people prepare themselves to represent themselves in court, to talk like attorneys, to talk like you're representing yourself and you're your own advocate. The Self-Help Center here, we have 5 dedicated deputy clerks here. We call this a one-stop shop. We have a full service document library, and we try to facilitate all of the additional resources needed once you provide that lucrative counsel for people to go on and represent themselves. So again, I noticed that Candace has placed the link in the chat, please go to the link and sign up. We are in need of all attorneys, as Clerk Russell said, but especially those who speak Spanish and or Creole, because we want to make sure that we are providing a lucrative service to everybody who is a resident of this county. And to that point, no, you don't necessarily have to be a resident of Orange County to receive the services of the Self-Help Center. You just need a state of Florida case, and preferably an Orange County case if you want some direct service. But we still help everyone here who has a Florida case. Any questions? If you do have questions, please place them in the chat room, and me and or Jessica or Clerk Russell will do our best to answer them. So I think we're at that halfway point. Look at the time. So now I see Judge Tennis has joined us, and Camy is on the line. Camy is also a very experienced family law practitioner. As we know, the Honorable Judge Diana Tennis serves as a judge with the Ninth Judicial Circuit, and she is one of our domestic judges hearing these cases. And so they're going to come on now and talk a little bit about the Modest Means program and the GAL Modest Means programs. So there's two separate Modest Means programs, and they're going to give you some details about how you might be able to assist the Orange County Bar Association with that very specialized program. Camy?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Roberta. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the Modest Means program in general, because I have been a participant of the Modest Means program for a very long time. And then at an Inns of Court meeting, Judge Tennis and I were talking, and we realized that there was a big need for Modest Means clients to have the benefit of a guardian ad litem. So I'll go into that as well. The Modest Means program offers assistance in many different areas of the law, more so than just the self-help. And depending upon what area you have knowledge in, you can select what types of cases you want to be given to you on a Modest Means basis. I practice in family law, criminal defense, bankruptcy, and dependency court. And so I take Modest Means cases in some of those areas. And the Modest Means actually works on a sliding scale. So the Orange County Bar Association will look at those numbers for you based on their income level and see where they fall on the sliding scale. Those are people that won't financially qualify for legal aid, or people that may financially qualify for legal aid, but as you know, legal aid doesn't take all types of cases. And so the Modest Means program does give participants the ability to have an attorney, and you have to be an attorney for a minimum of a certain amount of years in order to qualify to be on the panel for Modest Means. So they know that the people that are being assigned to these cases actually will be able to assist the clients in the Modest Means program. There are a certain amount of hours that you are required to do on a particular case under the Modest Means program. And at that time, as the attorney, you can decide to continue your Modest Means representation of that client, or you can decide to terminate that case after the certain amount of hours, because they don't expect for you to continue to work and not make enough money to run your law firm. Again, Modest Means cases seem to be taken on by mostly smaller law firms. However, one of the things that's really great about the Orange County Bar and how they help you with these Modest Means cases is a lot of people, even though they can afford to pay for an attorney, don't really find the benefit of spending that kind of money. And they sometimes will not be truthful to the Orange County Bar when they fill out their paperwork, where when you are the attorney, when you're getting the information, like one time we had a professional baseball player who tried to get in under the Modest Means program. And then when we got his financial disclosure, which is required, obviously, to do a family law case, you learn that they don't qualify. And the Modest Means program and the Orange County Bar will obviously have your back and let you know, like, yes, you can continue to have this attorney, but it's going to be at their regular rate. So that's the Modest Means program. And again, you can go on the website and it will tell you what the scale is. It's a certain percentage of the poverty level. If they make over a certain percentage, it's a certain number. And then if they make more or less, it's a certain number. When I say number, I mean the amount of money you're allowed to charge. And it's somewhere between 600 and 800 as a retainer. But, you know, that didn't really help the judges that much with needing some extra help regarding the guardian ad litem program. So a lot of times there's very specific issues that the judges would want to appoint a guardian ad litem. And most of the time, a guardian ad litem, which I'm a guardian ad litem, Jessica is a guardian ad litem. Some of you on here might be a guardian ad litem, but our retainer for that is usually somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000, depending upon how many children, what the issues are. And these people can't really afford to get a guardian ad litem, but as guardian ad litems and as judges who are seeking the assistance of a guardian ad litem, none of us care about the clients, right? That's not what guardian ad litem is about. It's about these poor children that won't have a voice for the court to know what's happening in the homes. And so Judge Tennis and I approached the Orange County Bar Association and said, hey, what can we do to help the children who are the, for lack of better words, I don't know if we use this, but in my opinion, the victims of divorce or the victims of paternity cases. And so Candace met with us a few times and we came up with the guardian ad litem program, which again works on a sliding scale. And you can get all of that. Candace put it in the chat for the guardian ad litem program. And we'll let you know what you can do to help the judges, help these families in transition and crisis, so these children can come out a little bit more stable and potentially not, in the line of fire. Judge Tennis, is there something that you want to?
Yeah, well, so one thing that I'm really interested in doing, because I think a lot of people who do like regular GAL work are used to getting, here's the nightmarish people and here's their 3 children, and make some sense of it all. And you end up doing a lot of wide-ranging investigation, going wherever it is the parties want you to look, and whatever rock and whatever witness, and then going through the factors. And it's a big, it's a huge undertaking. So I want you all to understand that that's not what I'm after. I'm after the finite, discrete investigations that need to be done by somebody when folks don't have the funds to do a free-for-all. And so we're going to be working, I hope collaboratively, to kind of put this more completely together in a way that the referrals that you get, my intention is the referrals that you get will tell you what that problem is that needs to be solved. That folks both think that 15-year-old Jimmy wants to live with them. Where's Jimmy want to live? This activity is dangerous and shouldn't be done because the child has this medical issue. Is that really a thing? Does stepmom beat them and smoke pot every night and blow it in their face? We just want somebody be able to give us some intel on things that are happening in cases that do not need and probably also cannot afford a wide-reaching deal. So that my pitch to you is that we really are going to be trying to craft this so that you are given more information about what you need to do and don't have to do a whole big thing. My other pitch to you would be that, as you may know, over the last couple of years, and it's until now, you are getting a family law bench that is less and less and less experienced as family law lawyers. And what that means is that they don't know you from having worked with you. They don't know you from having cases with you, against you, next to you. They are learning what they think of you literally in the courtroom as you do your presentation as an attorney. And you have an opportunity to do presentations as a guardian ad litem as somebody who is authoritative and important and knows more than the judge does. And I think it really is a great idea, a great way, an idea for you to get a little bit more face time that is non-adversarial. I mean, I never yell at GALs, ever. I think. So I think this is a really great idea for you to get to know some of the judges better, so that when you're in front of them, either as GALs on the big expensive case where you really want them to feel like you have some credibility, or even as a lawyer and you want them to, feel that you're credible. I think this is a really great way to kind of do that. And you're also giving back a bit, which, is number 3. It's a last number 3, but it's also kind of important. And I think in the bigger karma of things is something we all should consider doing more of. So I hope that you will think about getting involved. We're going to continue to work together to evolve this particular modest means GAL program so that it can be beneficial to you, and that you are given the tools that you need to do exactly what you need, and not expected to do more than these folks can afford. And I hope that you'll find it to be beneficial. And Jessica, please, welcome. Come dabble in this, so you can give us one of those fabulous everybody go do it things, because that was wonderful. It makes me want to sign up, and I don't think I should. So great job.
I also wanted to add, I'm sorry, I need more coffee to be Jessica. But one of the things that Jessica said is, truthful for this too, is where it's a learning experience. So even if you even for me, I've been practicing for 21 years, but I'm a guardian ad litem in cases where I can learn either what to do or what not to do from other practitioners. Because remember, as a guardian ad litem, you are privy to be in the room with the attorneys when there's a mediation. So you see how they run their cases. You're a party to the case. So you're sitting in the courtroom the entire time watching how they do direct and cross-examination. And sometimes, you're gritting your teeth like, I can't believe somebody would actually hire you. Or you're like, ooh, that's a great way to get a piece of evidence in that I've been struggling with in a different case. So it is an opportunity to learn while you're getting paid. And for me, the biggest part and the most exciting part is you're really helping children. The Guardian Ad Litem program is created to help children who have no ability to hire their own attorneys, have no voice in the court at all, unless there's a Guardian Ad Litem appointed. And so it's really just talk about an amazing feeling, knowing that you're helping children in this horrible, horrible time in their life. Because remember, parents who are getting divorced, or paternity people who are no longer in a relationship, are celebrating a lot of times when they're moving on with their new boyfriend and their new girlfriend and living their best new life. And then the collateral, all these children that don't get to pick what's going on in their life. Like maybe they want to say, no, I don't want you to get divorced. But, the parents are moving on and getting a better life for themselves, and the children are forgotten about. So if you want to help these children, you have to give the information to the court so the court can help these children.
And now may be one of the least painful times to do that, even though I know all y'all are just incredibly busy. I can't believe how busy our family lawyers are right now, so I get it. But we are in a virtual mode, and we're going to be in a virtual mode for many, many months to come. So now is the time to be able to do those investigations virtually of out-of-state witnesses or non-local witnesses, or it really is a time that I think at least it's a touch more convenient, because you're not expected to drive and be walking around in people's houses. You're expected to be doing exactly what we're doing. So I think now might be a good time to go stick your toe in the water if you're thinking about doing some GAL stuff.
Sure.
Any questions?
Again, Candace has put all the information in the chat. So if you're interested about learning more information about any of these programs that we discussed with you today, you can go on the website and find all the information. If you have specific questions that are not addressed by the website, which I don't think you'll find, but you may, Candace is always very receptive to emails, and you can ask her any questions. You could always reach out to me, or you could reach out to Jessica, depending upon which program you're interested in. And remember, they're mutually exclusive, so you can participate in both programs. You can participate in Modest Means and the Help Self office at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Right, Roberta?
Yes, absolutely. Just in closing, again, please feel free to place any of your comments and or questions in the chat. But thereafter, you can always contact any of us that were on the panel today. Certainly, my office is located on the 3rd floor here at the courthouse. I am in the self-help center in the back. And so if you ever want to come in and just take a look at how we're set up, please feel free to stick your head in and stop by. I see some of the names on the screen who have done that already, and I'm extremely grateful. Thank you, Jessica, because I see that just you alone, you were able to you were able to uh, solicit some people who have said just listening to you have provided that made them want to go out and sign up. So thank you for being my number one hype man or hype woman. Again, certainly appreciate it. Again, it is a very gratifying experience. We just received a letter in right after the holidays from someone who said, think it, but for the self-help center, my life would not have been made whole. And I feel whole again. I feel free. And so I'm always in here in tears, by the way, because that's exactly how the customers make you feel. They come in and just a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance that you provide them means the world to them. And so whether we're talking about the entire family unit, whether we're talking about someone who has been wronged and needs to be made whole in a small claims case, especially in this era when we're talking about eviction, and we know that there's a lot of legislation that is being proposed because so many people are displaced. And then when we start talking about representing children from a guardian ad litem perspective, there's just no more gratification in doing that. So please reach out to either OCBA. I believe Candace is the program director over there, and she always has the answers, and or one of us. We would certainly make ourselves available if you are interested in serving in one of these platforms. And I believe this concludes our program.
I just want to say one more thing if I can, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So because the Orange County Bar and wants to make sure, again, I think I've already said this, wants to make sure that we have the right people in the spot. There are some qualifications. You do have to have malpractice insurance up to a certain amount. You have to be practicing a certain amount of years, depending upon which area that you're selecting. I think they vary in years of practice. And so make sure that I want everybody to sign up for all of these great programs, but just make sure that you actually do qualify. And if you don't qualify right now, just put it on your calendar. Like if you need 6 more months or another year, or maybe you can contact and say, hey, I work for a firm, like I have an associate that works for me. And because she's working under me and I can, supervise her on everything that she does, then she will be able to qualify for some areas that she may not have otherwise. So just calendar yourself if you don't reach the qualifications right now, because you will soon. And this is a program, both of these programs, that will always have a need in our community. So just want to share that.
Can I piggyback for 1 second, Roberta?
Absolutely.
Just two quick things that I thought of that will maybe be questions that people have later. So hopefully this answers that preemptively. One, you are not kind of by yourself. Roberta is in the back. You're not by yourself during self-help. So I want people to know that. I'm sure it's the same for the Modest Means program, that if you need support, if you have a question, if you don't understand something, this isn't where people are judging you and saying, well, how don't you know what to do for landlord-tenant? Nobody's doing that. I get to walk in the back and be like, Roberta, question. Did you know that they could do this and this? And she's like, that doesn't sound right. Let's pull 83. And we pull the chapter and we're like, we knew we weren't right. Okay, go back in there. So I want you to know you're not by yourself. So as you're doing this, and how Camy said, if you're going to be a guardian ad litem, I don't know any guardian ad litem who would help you, who wouldn't, if you pick up the phone and say, hey, I have this issue and I'm confused and I'm part of the Modest Means program, I need help. We're all going to get on the phone and help you. Absolutely. The other thing to remember is you get the names ahead of time, I give super kudos to Candace for that. As we all know, we have to run conflict checks, and it does sometimes happen, especially with me being there from the beginning. There are times that I had gotten that list and I go right to Roberta and be like, excuse me, that's the pro se on the other side. So I can't do that one. And Roberta is right there. Thank God she's an attorney. She can do it. So again, don't worry about, well, what about a conflict? Well, what about this? Those are two things that I kept coming up with. And so I want to make sure you guys know you're not by yourself, and you will get the names ahead of time. Almost always Candace is phenomenal at that because she knows we have to run the conflict checks.
Thank you, Jessica.
I just want to point out before we sign off, there's a lot of good information that's going on in the chat. So if you haven't looked at the chat, please do so before they end the meeting. Candace made some clarifications. For the GAL, you have to have at least 3 years experience. The experience for the other modest means areas may differ. Obviously, if you're going to be a bankruptcy, I know we're not about bankruptcy here, but or maybe it is all areas, I'm not sure, but you have to be federally barred to participate in bankruptcy. So if you don't have that, you're not going to qualify. So it's really important to make sure you qualify for the area that you're interested in, or work towards what you need to do to qualify, because it's a great way to start getting clients in a new area of law and kind of, you know, navigate that area, learn a little bit, have people that want to help you and support you, especially if you're a solo practitioner, and try to, you know, expand your practice.
And for the Self-Help Center, we narrowed it down to you only need a year experience. And I think I shared that before. So for those who have hired maybe an associate like Camy right out of law school who just passed the bar, and now that person is working for you and has been there for at least a year, it may be an opportunity for you to get them some additional exposure as well. By allowing them to, you know, volunteer and sign up as a Self-Help Center panelist once or twice, you know, a month. That's going to give them that additional exposure and experience, because again, it is trial by fire.
And one more thing, I'm sorry, Roberta, just to give you guys plugs. So, and what Jessica said, unfortunately, people that don't have the financial means usually have the law school problems that are like, how do people, like, does this really happen in real life? It's just unbelievable. Oh, and one more thing, you know, the police came and then DCF came, and then my baby that I'm pregnant with now might not be the father, you know, my husband. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. So it's, you know, definitely something that can help a new associate, or even you as a practitioner that's practiced for a lot of years, because it's just overwhelming, the problems that they have. And so if you can help these people, they'll make better parents. And so the children, I'm always about the children will, you know, be the success story that we're all looking for.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that we are going to conclude with some time to burn. And if I don't see any other questions, again, thank you, everyone, for attending. Special thanks to the Orange County Bar Association for generously providing e-gift cards for lunch for those attendees. We really appreciate that. So kudos to them as well. And I look forward to seeing some of these faces. I did write everybody's name down, by the way. No, I'm teasing. But I look forward to seeing some of these faces as we move forward into this new year. So thank you for attending.